I think both of us did quite a bit of media coverage, social and content on this topic of the new iPhone. Some of it was about the phone itself. Snore, honk. Hold on, ready? Okay. But some of it was about a new modem that has maybe changed a paradigm that has been difficult to change for a long time. What's going on there?
Yeah, so listen, I mean, Apple has demonstrated that it can bring out subpar products and they're going to sell great, particularly in the United States and certain countries in the EU. But that's not the case for everywhere. And side editorial point, it will catch up with Apple at some point. They do have such a stranglehold and a walled garden for apps and peripherals that it really makes it difficult for anybody to get meaningful share. Out of the other side of the mouth, I'll remind everybody that the number one share in the entire world is Samsung in smartphones, not Apple. So opening price point, OPP is $599 versus OPP of the current SE at $429. That's a 40% increase in price there. There are a lot of things that would make it more costly, like storage, the display, the A18. It does have Apple Intelligence for those people who care today, which are very few, but could be in the future. There's some arguments out there that, oh, well, the iPhone 14 is actually the new SE. Well, you know what? Just say it and let's Apple commit to that. And let's see a statement from Apple that commits an ongoing supply of the iPhone 14 at that price for X amount of years. But this is classic Apple not saying anything out loud. It's, hey, you people have to figure this out. As you said, Daniel, an interesting point here. This included a discrete C1 Apple, I'm going to call it chip modem chipsets. It's not just one chip. A lot of talk about it being lower power, which I guess my response is, well, okay, give me access to the ability to hit that modem and let's do a side-by-side compare. I'm skeptical. Apple should open that up to folks. The other thing is that there's no third-party tests available for reliability, right? Think dead spots, think drops, think the inability to potentially get out that TikTok post, and it'll probably be slower. I have absolutely no evidence for that, but what I do know is there are no free lunches. It took Apple 5 years and a multi-billion-dollar investment, not only in the core IP, and by the way, 5 years ago, Intel had a non-millimeter wave modem, which, by the way, that was available, that Apple was doubling down on, that they were going to ship with until they decided that they weren't. So and the other thing is it's not integrated into the SoC. So it's like, how really does this compare to an integrated Qualcomm modem on performance, on power, on reliability? I don't have to see any tests to say that this modem, I'll give you a 95% degree of confidence. It will be less reliable. It will be slower. And if we had the ability to actually hit the bus that the modem is on, is going to be a lot higher power than an integrated modem in, let's say, a Samsung device where the modem is actually integrated onto the SoC.
Woo. So I'll just touch quickly. I agree with you on your modem points. I think this has been a long time coming. Apple had to get this out to prove that they could break the chains of Qualcomm. Qualcomm's modeled for this for a long time, so it's a slower erosion than expected, and it's actually been a better outcome than the investment thesis that had come forward over the last couple of years. I still don't necessarily believe it's going to work well and find its way into the premium devices. I think this is kind of like, let's give the crappy stuff to our low-end customers and see if they notice. I mean, look, the SE phones suck. Anyone that had an SE phone, they were glitchy. I thought they were terrible. I'm not saying that, like, you know, it's like something I give my 8-year-old. It's just not, it's never been a device that I would use every single day. If I was going to spend in that tier, there's so many better options from Chinese companies, from Samsung, and of course, but Apple knows that it's got this audience, it's got this buying group. You know, I was on Fox Business the other day, and they asked me about it. I'm like, you know, it really doesn't matter if they're innovative. People still buy their stuff. I'm like, he's like, what's going to happen with the stock? I'm like, well, I don't really do that, but I'm like, let's just say it'll probably go up. Why is it going to go up? Because it doesn't seem to matter if Apple makes good stuff. People just buy it anyway. And it's like the intelligence. It's absolutely garbage. So part of this was getting a cheap device out that has Apple Intelligence on it to start exposing. Now, what I will say is Apple has the grace of basically being able to get to AI when it wants to. I think you tweeted something the other day about how generationally bad their generative AI is, like how you can't believe. Like, I think we all thought it would be, we're all kind of like, okay, it's going to take them longer. But we didn't think it would still be this bad 2 years after the ChatGPT moment, that it's like they still have nothing of meaning. And like, I've turned Apple Intelligence back on because I'm like, I was really like hoping like something had changed. It's just not very good. So the good news is you get more users, more exposed, you bring more down. And I don't really think the quality of this device is good enough to do any real share shift from the better product. So this is all about kind of added share potentially for them, I think. But if it does, if it is actually too good, Pat, then it's going to cannibalize a higher margin, better product, which is also dumb in my opinion. So
not at that price, man. Not at that price. You know, it's just weird. And I'm wondering if they're holding some tariff dollars, you know, kind of just in case there.